Hey guys, Dribble here. I'm going to give you a little in-depth guide on Elemental Shaman DPS maximization in a raid environment. You're going to be seeing Elizabeth, the new third boss, and Baronhold. In order to maximize your DPS, you have cooldowns that you need to manage, and the first one is Fire Elemental Totem. Fire Elemental Totem scales with your spell power at the time that you cast it. So, to maximize your DPS from it, you have to cast it when the most at the time in the fight when you have the most intellect, basically. I pre-potted, so I had a potion up, and those two semicircles that just appeared on my screen let me know that Power Torrent has procced and my Dark Moon card Volcano has procced. I don't have anything else that could possibly proc. This is the most intellect I could possibly have at any point in the fight, so I choose that time to drop the Fire Elemental Totem. Another thing you need to note about Fire Elemental Totem is that it's not always best used at the beginning of the fight, but you should always make sure that you're going to use it uh, for its full duration. It's a 2-minute long totem, and as long as you use it at any time with at least 2 minutes left in the fight, then you're getting the maximum potential out of it. Other than that, moving on to Elemental Mastery. Elemental Mastery is a haste buff and a 15% damage modifier across the board to everything. For that reason, you don't need to worry about whether or not you mix it with heroism. Um, what's going to happen if you do that though is it's going to bring your casts under the GCD cap. You're going to be casting faster than 1 second, and so you're going to be wasting a bit of the haste bonus. However, with that 15% damage modifier, it still makes it worth it, and you don't lose any DPS. Use it throughout the fight as many times as you possibly can, meaning every time that it's up, starting at the very beginning of the fight, you need to use it. The more uptime you have on Elemental Mastery, the more DPS you're going to do. Third, I think it's important to note the way that dots have changed as of 4.2. Keeping Flame Shock up is a lot easier now because you can cast it. There's a small window of time that is not a DPS loss for you to cast it during, and that window it depends on your haste rating. Basically, in between the last two casts, or the last two ticks, I apologize, of your dot before it wears off, is a window of time where you can refresh the dot. It'll still go through that last tick that it had saved up, and then the new duration will start. So you don't lose any DPS by clipping that, as long as you know exactly how big that window is. I know based on my haste rating, I have 2.7 seconds between casts, and therefore in the last 2.7 seconds of the dot timer, if I cast Flame Shock, I'm not losing any DPS. As you can see here, notice that my Flame Shock has not been up for about 10-15 seconds now. Elizabeth does during this Bladestorm you're looking at, it's basically deterrence, where she deflects all incoming damage abilities. I didn't realize this. It's the first time I've ever done the fight, and that threw off my Flame Shock. I thought it was up, obviously wasn't up, so always be wary of things like that. Flame Shock is second in priority only to Searing Totem, or a Fire Totem in general. Your priority list goes Fire Totem, Flame Shock uptime, Lava Burst cast, Fulmination, which is Earth Shock anytime between 7 and 9 stacks of Lightning Shield, and then Lightning Bolt as a filler in between when you can't use any of those. I'm going to attach a clip at the end here so that you can kind of just watch how the fight goes and what I do without having to listen to me. You can kind of focus a little bit more. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helps.